This presentation is to help give guidance on how to name files and file structures, and also help students create their profiles on their devices for the submission of labs through the Lab Manager software for the SPARK LX and LXi. Prior to the lab period, the teacher should create a folder into which the labs will be collected. Naming these folders in a systematic way will help assist with the management of the data files from the students. It's advisable to start the listing of the folder with the period or the section name and a short abbreviation of the name of the lab. Also, if the labs are numbered within the sequence, it's best to include the numbering of the lab prior to the name of the lab to assist with the sorting of the labs in sequential order. If the instructor has the students adhere to a standard naming convention, this will make management of the files much easier and allow the identification of labs if they get mishandled within the file structure, so that a student submitting to the wrong folder or an instructor inadvertently collecting to the wrong folder will be able to identify the wayward file. For instance, start the name of the file with a class or section number. This will make it easier to find and sort the files. Have a standard abbreviation within the name of the file that refers to the lab name. If you're numbering the labs within the unit or the year, please include this before the name of the lab. This will assist in sorting the labs within the file structure. Have the students include the date in which they did the lab. Use dots to separate the day, month, and year to make sure the file name is valid. Slashes within the name will cause the name to be invalid. The file will be tagged by the creation date, but this will be an additional assurance that the work is being submitted by the student, that is their own work. For an additional protection against plagiarism, have the student group create a new page within the lab with a picture of the group that did the work. Here's a sample file name for a calorimetry lab, the 5th lab for the unit, completed during period 1 within August. P1, L5, Cal 8.24.18. Please make sure that they have their student profile with their last initial first. This will assure faster sorting of the labs and contribute to the ease of entry of lab grades within an alphabetized roster. For instance, when Mike Wazowski submits the file P1 L5 Cal 8.24.18, the following file will appear on the teacher device if he has configured his profile name as W, Mike. Do not have students use special characters in their profile name, as this can cause issues with the naming of the submitted files. Here are the screenshots of what this should appear like on the student devices. So the student has completed the lab and has named their file according to the teacher naming standards. P1, period 1, L5, the 5th lab of the sequence, Cal, a shortened name of the lab, and in this case, WE would be for Wally, and 8.24.18. The student would then save the SPARK lab. In this case, it's going to be saved to the saved work folder. When the student is getting ready to share that data with the instructor, they will navigate to that folder using the Lab Manager student version that is on their device. So you can see in this case, Wally is getting ready to submit his lab to the instructor. Once the proper lab has been selected, they will tap on the Send button. The lower left-hand side of the screen will show a faint file transfer done, so the student will know that the file has been transferred to the instructor's computer. There will be a listing of the students that are paired to the teacher device. In this case, we have both Mike Wazowski and Wally. So in this case, we're going to track the collection of the files from Mike. So for the instructor to collect the files officially, the instructor will tap on the 3-bar menu on the upper left-hand side. That will open up the side menu here, and then from that menu, the instructor is going to tap on Collect. It will default to a standard collection folder, which is within the Lab Manager file directory on the teacher device. Once those files are collected, the instructor can check to make sure they are there by navigating to the home screen, tapping on My Files, tap on the internal storage, and then on the right-hand side, tap on PASCO, and within that you'll see the Lab Manager file and the SPARKview file. Tap on Lab Manager, and then you will see the two labs that have been collected, one from Mike Wazowski and one from Wally. Notice that they will be displayed in alphabetical order, so it's important to make sure the students have their last name listed first on their student profiles.